You know, every time we come here to Transylvania, I question whether or not it's a good idea, but especially with Moon Plains looming and the fact that we're slowly but surely, and I do mean very slowly, starting to assemble a decent little trophy lodge here, I want to continue hunting this map and frankly exploring some of the areas that we've not explored. So we're going to fast travel up here to the east side and just kind of see what we can find today. And good to know, we do in fact have red deer drinking up here on the east side of the map, and best I can tell, this one will be the one to take. I've been hitting the low fitness collar just to try to bring anything that's below 50% out of there, and this guy would appear to be, so we'll go ahead and try to drop him. Shouldn't be going too far based on that amount of blood, and that'll be our first kill here on Transylvania, probably in 2 months or something like that. But I'm hoping as we work our way up through here, one thing that's really nice that happened with a fairly recent update is the drink zones kind of got spread out a little bit. So red deer drink from, I think, 9 to 1 p.m. And then a lot of the smaller deer species, fallow deer, roe deer, things like that, they drink from 11 to 3. So there's a little bit longer to actually hunt the drink zones, and that allows us to cover more ground while still hunting for things that we, mainly want to focus on. And actually, I would say this has worked out pretty well. We had to wait for this guy to float over. We did actually manage to hit the heart there, as well as the artery and both lungs. Something looks odd about that to me. Like there's 3 different lung impacts? I don't quite understand how that works. I've never seen that happen. But that was a 39% and good to get him taken out of the herd. But we're just hitting about 1030 now in game, which means most of those smaller species that I was talking about are going to be working their way into their drink zones now, and we're still going to have that kind of crossover time where both red deer are drinking and those other species are getting into their zones. Now that's kind of encouraging. For the first time ever, we've got a wild boar on our map over 2 stars, and frankly, I don't even know. Oh. Okay. Well, that makes the decision a little easier. I still want to check the encyclopedia and see what the deal is with the wild boar, because I actually don't know how old they get. They get up to 14, so their mature kind of range is pretty short, just from 10 to 14. That guy's not going to get to 5-star, but he's probably got some of the better genetics in that herd. As for the pheasant, which one were we actually spotting? Because there's apparently a 3-star and a 5-star somewhat side by side there. That's the 5-star there. So I do think it'd be kind of lame to just shoot off the ground with the 308. So what we're going to try to do is flush him and somehow get him out of the air with it. We don't have a shotgun or the 22, which if we got to come back, we will. Trying to keep an eye on which one is him. I'm pretty sure we just did that. And did we spook the boar? I guess we did. I thought they were going to hang around, but might be the first time we've ever shot a airborne pheasant with anything but a shotgun. I really don't even tend to attempt that. This was darn near a heart shot. Cavity damage with a heart, I'm going to count that on an animal that size. 99.79%. What are the odds this could be a max score? 499. I know it's just a pheasant, but we've never gotten a max score, and it was so close. That is insane. I literally, this is some of the most fun stuff, is exploring, untouched territory on the maps, because you never know what's there, and I assume, dang, that'll be a pretty good one too. I assume things on the entire map age regardless of whether or not you've been in that area or not. I've always wondered if maybe, untouched areas, undiscovered animals and stuff maybe don't age until you see them, but I'm guessing everything would age. So, to end up coming here on the right day, after who knows how much time has passed on Transylvania as we've hunted it, to encounter that, or anything else that we may find today, I just think it's really cool. And that's why I love, sometimes saving some of these areas to explore later. It's already worked out pretty well today. Just kind of jumping in here with a bit of a brief editor's note as well. I'm not sure why I thought that 3-star mature wild boar couldn't eventually get to 5-star, and maybe doesn't have the best odds, but if it's, say, only 10 years old and already a 3-star mature, it definitely has a chance. That's looking a little bit better though, a 3-star adult wild boar. I would say that's got a very real shot of reaching 5-star one day. Also in here was a 3-star mature, and again with the spotting the way that it is in Way the Hunter at the moment, it's really tough to know exactly which animal you're actually spotting. That's the 3-star mature, I think, further up the hill, and we'll probably leave him as well. Now, taking a 1-star adult might not be a great idea. I think it would have been that one there. We're going to go ahead and take him just to kind of see what it ends up being, because I do think probably this herd has pretty decent quality genetics. So if he's going to stand somewhat broadside, that was kind of unfortunate. He started moving right when we shot. I don't know what we hit there. I was hoping for spine. I honestly have no idea if 3 shots bring him down or not. A 4th one is going to for sure, and we can at least go and see what that was. Not exactly the way we want to draw it up, but the most important thing probably is finding their zone. And I actually don't know, maybe wild boar drink at the same time as the deer species? And according to the encyclopedia, they do indeed. So we're going to have to run around down there at the creek and try to find their zone, because that 3-star adult gives us, I think, a very real chance. That liver shot, I guess, wouldn't have been fatal. I would have thought the 308 at 235 would have gotten him. Then we had flesh. Must have been real close to hitting the spine, though. Barely even hit him, but a skull shot that wasn't fatal, and then it was just another flesh hit that was enough to finally bring him down. That was a 55% adult. With a 3-star mature and a 3-star adult in there, probably a really good one to take out. But we definitely want to try to find this drink zone, because now we have a multi-mount of the black wolf from the missions, and at the moment like a 2-star mature wild boar or something like that. If we could get a 5-star in there, that would be way, way cooler. We are just not having much luck finding their drink zone though, so what I think we'll do is go ahead and mark this area, probably more like where we shot the pheasant, and then zoom out and screenshot that, just so we know to come back to the spot. My guess is that maybe they drink at this kind of wider area, where the other wild boar were and where we shot our 5-star pheasant, and that might be why we're not encountering their zone. But if we come back here several times during their drink zone, eventually we're going to find it. And the good news is, at the moment the one we're after is only a 3-star adult. We've got quite a few years until we really need to worry about him maybe dying of old age before we find him. Now, that is interesting. A 4-star roe deer. This is right outside an outpost. I wanted to work our way back up and go kind of west down this creek. I kind of wonder if that guy might make it. He doesn't look terribly great. I don't know much about 5-star roe deer and, you know, what they should look like as a 3 or 4-star, but I wonder maybe if we're close enough to an age cycle to find out today. In the meantime, there's a 1-star mature there, and probably hunting in the middle of a thunderstorm isn't the best idea, but just happens to be what's going on at the moment. So I don't know, I really am not sure. With roe deer, we'll check it on the encyclopedia. Maybe as we're going up to claim the 1-star. One thing is for certain, it is considerably smaller, so let's go ahead, 0 for 164, and try to take that guy out. Never gonna move. And this zone's not terribly hard to find. I really don't know if that's a drink zone though. I guess probably it is. It's gotta be that herd. Actually, for whatever reason, the roe deer drink at the same time as red deer, so this probably is a rest zone. And then this one, we actually shot too high and hitting the spine. 20%. Definitely worth getting out of there, especially while there's a really good one in the herd. And roe deer, like whitetail, only live to 8 years old, so pretty good chance if that guy is going to hit 5-star, it's on the next age cycle. We're at about 130 in game. I still think we should go ahead and walk this part, just to kind of see if there's any, at least fallow deer or mouflon up there. Apparently roe deer aren't going to be drinking anyway. But then maybe when we rest, we can find out if that guy's got a chance. You know, maybe all of the decent genetics are in that one roe deer, because everything else on this map is pathetic. We have a bunch of 1-star matures, I think this one not only is pretty small, but also, yeah, definitely uneven. So let's take that one. By the way, I did go ahead and rest to a new day, and our 4-star remained a 4-star. So either he's not getting the 5-star or an age cycle hasn't passed. I'm thinking probably we haven't passed an age cycle. I really don't know where we would have been along in like the current cycle, being that it's been so long since we found Transylvania, but we'll continue along, see if we can maybe get to a point where a cycle happens, and we'll see. Like I said, maybe we can get lucky and that one road deer is going to be like the only decent one we have. Because looking at this one, we have a long way to go towards managing our road deer herds to be a little bit better. This guy was an 11%. Probably doesn't matter what scenario, ones in that range always benefit the herd as a whole. So at this point, I figure we might as well at least try to pass the cycle and see what happens with that road deer. And we're just going to jump around and check some other spots. I do kind of think we had a 4-star mature chamois on our map. Again, this is the problem with not hunting a particular map for a long time. I don't remember where it was. I don't know if we have a screenshot of it. We're just going to wander around and see what happens. Speaking of star ratings and kind of past encounters, I kind of think we may have spotted that road deer as a 3-star mature. I really don't remember. If that's the case, and if they're similar to whitetail, I would say it's not super likely he makes it, but you never know, and I figure we might as well at least try to find out. And in the meantime, we can kind of work on managing our chamois and mouflon herds a little bit. Double long shot that guy. Even that was a 71%. I do think chamois live for pretty long, so not a huge shocker to see decent genetics on a 2-star mature. And our chamois genes seem generally to be really good. We've just never had one get to 5-star. I absolutely cannot believe it. Our road deer made it to 5-star. These are one of my absolute favorites on Transylvania, and I kind of think, for the sake of that, we should try to take them with a crossbow. I mean, look at those antlers. They're in a bit of a weird spot over here. I had to kind of wander around and just keep on peeking up over hills until we found them. That's obviously the ones. They're a little farther away from the outpost than where we were seeing them, but I think we're going to jump back, grab the crossbow and the road deer collar, which we might not even own, and see if we can get him with the crossbow. I honestly just thought he would die. That is so cool. So that's going to be him, but we're actually in a spot where we can't spot him at the moment. Got that doe entirely in the way, but let's go ahead and try to call him in. I don't think I've ever even used the road deer collar, but we'll do the high fitness call. Kind of sounds like what you'd expect. And he is standing up, so I'm going to bet he's going to start to work his way in. And this should work out pretty well because he's going to be out of sight for a fair amount of time. But once he comes back up here, he'll still be 50 yards away or so. Plenty of time to get our shot figured out and lined up. But that is so cool. I'm planning on getting some good pictures of him coming in because they are some of the best looking trophy road deer in any game out there. He's just now cresting the hill, so we're going to probably need one more call, maybe two. And he should be able to work his way right into crossbow range. We've got next to no wind today, and from here, it's basically perfect. That is so cool. He's 57 yards away. I just love what they've done with the road deer antlers, and there's a bunch of different 5-star racks, but I do think this might be my favorite. He's really taking his time. We could take this shot, but I want to bring him in maybe to like 20 yards if we can. They are just so cool, and especially the closer he gets too, the more we'll be able to see that in detail. Got a call probably about now again, and hopefully that will get him the rest of the way. There must be a mechanic where they respond to the call. 40 yards in closing. Look at that. That is a giant of a road deer. I think when he gets to 30, we'll probably grab the crossbow and 0 for 22 and try to let him walk in that last bit. He is just enormous. Let's go ahead and get this ready. Should be probably around 25 already. Already 0'd for 22. We'll see if he'll either stop or if he gets much closer, we'll just go for it. I say we should just go for it. Oh, he's gonna stop. That was perfection. The other deer have no idea anything happened. I had a feeling if we gave it long enough, he'd see us, or the call would kind of run out, and he'd stand there and look at us. That is so cool. Looks like we absolutely smoked him, and this could be, at least potentially, our best trophy shot ever, mostly because both antlers are entirely visible right now. There's a little too much grass in the way to be, like, absolutely perfect, but it is pretty darn close, and I think from this angle, we can at least mostly show the entire rack. Probably gonna turn a little bit kind of back this way, and you have to be looking up over top of the animal or the white outline for claiming it to come up, so something like that at least kind of shows off the antlers a little bit better. I say we go with that, and then let's see what we actually just shot here with the crossbow. Oh, what? So I apparently shot this on purpose or not, I don't know, with the 270 at 247 yards and darn near killed it. Like, we actually hit the neck and it wasn't fatal. I couldn't even hazard a guess as to how long ago that was. This shot, a little more intentional and a little more well placed, through the heart and double lung. I want to zoom out on this. He was, at best, maybe a 2-star here. That is insane. He was a 96% and a full score of 487. The fact that at some stage we apparently shot this and could have ruined that is nuts. I wish I knew when that happened. Is there a way to be able to see anything more than that? Not really. I can't believe how close we came to ruining our first 5-star roe deer long before we had any idea that it would have been a 5-star. That is insane. So let's go ahead and tax that. Let's go back to the trophy lodge and find a place to put that. I really did not expect that to be the way we'd be wrapping up this video. Not only with the fact that he became a 5-star, but then finding out that at some point tragedy almost struck in the process. Pretty easy decision as to where we're going to place him for now. Got a nice little full body mount here next to our 2 5-star red deer. And eventually I'd love to put a melanistic roe deer buck in the second slot for this multi-mount. I still have not gotten over that. The fact that we hit him where we did with the 270 makes me think it may have been an intentional attempt to just neck shot him and insta-kill him. It's also possible though we shot past another one. I really wish I could remember that, but I have absolutely zero recollection of that happening. By the way, if you want to see quite possibly the worst place we could have put that pheasant, it's there. It's with our 5-star jackal. It's just barely visible in this mount. So we may move that eventually, but I did want to complete this multi-mount. We put it together when we shot the 5-star jackal by pure chance, months and months ago, and just never had a 5-star pheasant from Transylvania to put here. So completed that mount, starting a new one with a 5-star roe deer that almost never was. And you know, going back about 4 hours ago, I said every time we come to Transylvania, I question whether or not it's a good idea. I think we should stop questioning it and start coming here more and more often, because our last 3 or 4 hunts now, we've ended up with some really cool kills, maybe none cooler than a 5-star roe deer that took a 270 shot to the neck probably months ago and survived it to show up here today. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, so as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.